Welcome, fellow Maverick Toastmasters. This is our meeting for December. Happy holidays to everyone, and I will open our meeting by reading our club's mission. We are an advanced Toastmasters club which supports Maverick leaders in creating greater impact by providing advanced feedback on online presentations and leadership skills, and discovering what it means to be out of the box, innovative speakers. Please welcome our Toastmaster of the day, Dale Force.
Hello, I will be Toastmaster today. I have a few changes in our roles from the original agenda. Gail will be our timer. I will be the word counter grammarian. Sandra will be the hark master. And I think we all know how those words go, but for now, I remember not remembering my agenda exactly. The hark master will explain their role. Sandra.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. I am your Hark Master. I will have prepared questions about our meeting to see how much you've been paying attention. I might stump you. Well, let's see. I'll give my report at the end of the meeting. Back to you, Toastmaster Dale.
All right, and I will be the word counter grammarian, a counter. And I am now pasting the word of the day and its definition into the chat, which I will send out. And the day's word is bravado. Sort of related to bravery, but sort of when you're doing a public demonstration of your bravery. Not really for cases when you're hiding it or just being brave and doing something that's very frightening, like me crossing a high bridge. I don't like to mention anything there, but I'm scared of heights. I did have it worked down once. I've got to work through the cognitive behavioral therapy again because I actually walked across a skyscraper in suspension bridge in Britain, a long one, but I was calmed down enough. But now I'm getting back into having problems. So I will have to face those very high heights with bravado. And I believe our next one is our timer. Will explain her role. Gail.
Thank you. Thank you, Dale, Mr. Toastmaster. And for the timing, for the speeches, the timing on Doug's speech is 5 to 7 minutes, and the timing on Megan's speech is 4 to 6 minutes because it's an icebreaker. So at the respective start times, 5 for Doug and 4 for Megan, I'll show the green light. And at 6 minutes for Doug and 5 minutes for Megan, I'll show the yellow light. And at 6 minutes for Megan and 7 minutes for Doug, I will show the red light and keep it on until the speaker is done. Now for table topics, the timing is 1 to 2 minutes. I will show the green light at 1 minute, the yellow light at 1.5 minutes, and the red light at 2 minutes, and I'll keep it on until the table topic speakers are finished speaking. For the speech evaluations, they are 2 to 3 minutes. I will turn the green light on at 2 minutes, the yellow light on at 2.5 minutes, and the red light on at 3 minutes. That is the timing. Back to you, Toastmaster.
You're
Dale, we
muted,
can't hear you.
Dale.
Doug Thiessen will be our first speaker. He's giving a speech from the Visionary Communications Pathway on the fourth wise man, Bob, the fourth wise man. For today's holiday season, Doug will be telling a Christmas story. However, in keeping with our club motto, Doug will not use a traditional perspective. He will think outside the Bible. Please welcome Doug Thiessen to present the story of Bob, the fourth wise man.
Thank you, Dale. And welcome, fellow Toastmasters. Now, the traditional Christmas nativity scene depicts three wise men, or magi, coming to the birth of the baby Jesus. However, did you know that the Bible never actually states how many magi were there? So I want to give you a little bit more of the story and what might have happened. Now the Magi looked up at the night sky, and they saw a great new star rising in the east. And they were historical scholars, so they knew that this could be the sign that the King of the Jews was being born according to the prophecies of old. And they knew that they had to find him and worship him. So they assembled a team that would journey out to where the star foretold and find that holy child. And they chose among them 4 men named Gaspar, Balthazar, Melchior, and Bob. As they journeyed through the desert, they started discussing the gifts that they were bringing to celebrate the birth. Balthazar held up a small, beautiful bottle holding a liquid, and he said, "This is a bottle of myrrh. It is the finest of my collection and fit for a king." Bob, a little confused, said, "What is myrrh, anyway?" Balthazar replied, "I thought you were wise. Myrrh is the best. It is the stuff of miracles." Now, Gaspar held up a box containing a fine powder. He says, "I have brought incense, so the king's chamber will always have the finest aroma." Balthazar looked at that beautiful wooden box, and he noticed that it was made by Frank, who is one of the greatest crafters of incense in the land. And he said, "Ah, Frank's incense. They will surely love that." Now, Melchior and Bob kind of looked at each other in surprise, and Bob said, "I thought we agreed we weren't going to exchange Christmas gifts this year." And Gaspar said, "Well, since this is a very special occasion, we changed our minds." Melchior thought for a moment and he said, "I've got some gold coins. I could spare those. Who doesn't like money for a gift?" Bob turns to them and says, "Don't you guys have any concept of age-appropriate gifts?" And he brooded silently for most of the trip about what he was going to do. Now, as they approached Bethlehem, he told the others, "Could you wait for me here? I need to rush into the city and get something for a gift." So he spurred his camel and made to charge into the city. But he quickly discovered that camels don't respond well to spurs, and they don't tend to charge. Well, when he got to town, he had a major problem. As he ran from one shop to the other, he discovered that they're all closed. Now, he's feeling like a rather dumb wise man because he forgot that everyone would be closed on Christmas Day. So, where is he going to find a gift now? He still didn't have any inspiration for what he should give. Basically, all he could find that were open were restaurants and mostly Chinese food. Well, he found a place where he could at least stop and get himself a cup of coffee. And he was struck with an inspiration. He could get a gift that was fitting and versatile and would suit the star that was guiding them to their holy destination. A Starbucks gift card! So Bob rushed back as fast as he could to their meeting place and discovered that his fellow Magi had stopped waiting for him because he'd already taken so long. So he continued to follow the star by himself for those last few miles. Now, unfortunately for Bob, by the time he got to the stable to greet the Holy Child and present his gift, he was very late. He arrived just in time to see the photographer packing up his supplies. They'd taken a beautiful group photo of everyone gathered there with the family, and Bob had missed it. And that picture went viral and became the basis for the traditional nativity scene that we see so often today. Bob presented his gift and convinced the family to let him at least take a selfie with them, but it just wasn't the same. So now you know the story of Bob, the fourth Magi, and why he was forgotten from history. Sometimes preparation and timing can make all the difference. Back to you.
Thank you, Doug. A very interesting story. And I'm now going to introduce our second speaker. Megan Rosetti will be giving her speech from the Dynamic Leadership Pathway. The title is Intro to Megan 101. Although she promises not to give a pop quiz at the end of this presentation, that job's our Harkmaster, Sandra's. Megan will pepper you with facts and stories to introduce you to the unique perspectives and experiences of Maverick's newest member brings to the club. Megan.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Toastmasters. I'm so excited to be here and to be one of the newest members to the Maverick Club. For me, joining Toastmasters was a really important step. I am currently a stay-at-home mom to 3 little boys. I married my husband 16 years ago and immediately knew we wanted to start a family. But it didn't happen quite the way we thought it would. We worked, we tried, we prayed, we did all of the things. And at the end of the day, we still needed a little help. And eventually, we were blessed with our 2 boys, Vincent and Dominic. Someday, I hope to show you a picture of Vincent and Dominic because they are the Mutt and Jeff of twins. Dominic, at 13 years old, is over 6'2", coming up on 200 pounds. And Vincent is a whopping 5 foot, weighing in at a hard 87 pounds. 88, he screams from the background. And we really thought that when we had these 2 boys, that was it. Our family was complete and we were going to move through life as a 4-person unit. But alas, all of a sudden, not 12 weeks after giving birth to twins, I found out that I was going to be blessed with the miracle that is Bennett. Bennett is my little piece of joy who was a surprise. He is the one who is going to give me gray hairs. Let's just be really honest about it. But being that I had the twins and then immediately had Bennett, they were all born at the end of the summer, giving us a really interesting opportunity to send all 3 kids into school at the same age, being now that I have 3 7th grade boys. And I don't know when the last time any of you hung out with 7th grade boys, but as my husband said, if there's a good way to have a bad time, it's be around a bunch of 13-year-old boys. I only giggle because I wish you could see the dance he's doing over here celebrating the speech about him. But as anyone could probably imagine, being a stay-at-home mom to 3 boys is a really fast way to lose your identity. Although I want to be the perfect mother, I want to live up to the matriarch that my grandmother was and the women who've come before me, I also want to be my own human, my own individual. And previously I did that through working for KeyBank. I was in the banking industry for 15 years, but ended in working in strategy for KeyBank. I worked all over Northeast Ohio, but towards the end of it, I covered every branch in the network from Portland, Maine to Portland, Oregon. And I was responsible for the relationship with the private bank, the investment side of the group, and our deposit base. So needless to say, that was a huge undertaking. It was something that I loved and had such a passion for. Personally, it was a big change moving into the high net worth category because when I worked in the branch network, my passion is for low to moderate income neighborhoods, especially for underbanked and underserved communities. I think that's a really critical part of our communities that often gets left behind. And I'm sure that you will find from time to time that those passions creep into my speeches. But leaving the bank at that time was the right thing for me. And I spent several years at home just really trying to figure out who I was. Am I Megan the artist? Am I Megan the personal coach? Am I Megan something else? But it turns out that the place that I really found who I am was when I walked into a Toastmasters meeting. I was lucky enough to be invited by my friend at a New Year's Eve party on December 31st. She told me all about the joy that she had found within Toastmasters. And it made sense. I was missing community. I was missing the opportunity to shine. And I was missing the opportunity to lead humans who might want to be led. But finding the opportunity to walk into Toastmasters, really, it's changed my life. It reminds me of who I am. It reminds me that I bring so many things to the table, not just for the 3 boys that I'm trying to raise to be men that they can be proud of themselves, but also to others within the community. And so in closing, I very much look forward to learning how to continue to stretch myself to be a maverick leader through this Toastmasters group.
Thank you, Megan. It was a very interesting speech, letting us to get to know you. All right, and our next thing we go on to is table topics. And unfortunately, our Denise has not arrived here, so we will be having a fill-in for table topics, and Doug has volunteered to fill in for table topics.
All right, just give me a second to pull up a file for our table topics. Oh, come on. Where'd it go? Let's have some fun and play MacGyver table topics. Can't remember when we've done this one here at the club, but it's a lot of fun. So as you may be aware, MacGyver, the show, was very popular in the 80s, and I think they even redid it not too long ago. MacGyver was an engineer who got himself into all kinds of trouble but he could get himself out of trouble by putting together contraptions made from things that he found right on hand at the time. And so for our table topics, I'm going to get each person to pick two numbers from 1 to 25. The first number is going to be the problem that you need to solve, and the second number is going to be the items that you get to use to solve the problem. Rick, would you like to go first?
Sure.
All right. Rick, you can pick two numbers from 1 to 25.
11 and 18.
Okay, 11. You are a mover. You're moving furniture, and you need to hoist a piano to the top of a third-floor building. And you said 18?
Yes.
What you get to use to hoist a piano is a computer mouse, a lizard, and a roll of flypaper. I can put those in the chat if you'd like.
Sure. I'm laughing because that's what I did as a kid. I had a furniture moving business and I used to move everything,
Well, you can
including
use your experience.
including pianos. Fellow Toastmasters, how appropriate that Doug chose that for me. As I said, I grew up in the furniture business, and my brother and I had a moving business. So we had to be creative. We were in very old houses, a lot of them in Salem, Massachusetts, the Witch City, where there were houses that were built in the 1600s with circular stairways. And you'd have to carry something up the stairway that wouldn't go. So you had to figure out, how can I make this happen? Bringing up a piano to a third floor. We do it. And would have to use whatever was available to us. What would we use? Well, if I had a computer mouse, a lizard, and a roll of flypaper, I have a need. Why? Well, I'd whack the lizard over the head with the computer mouse. It would get upset, and then you put the piano on top of the lizard. You catch the flies with the flypaper, and the lizard would want to go after the flies. So you just have to walk ahead of the lizard on the stairway, and the next thing you know, the piano gets to the top. Now, you didn't say what kind of piano it was, so considering what I had for tools, I assume that it was a little toy piano about this big that would fit on the back of the lizard. Now, if it were a larger computer, the lizard wouldn't work. Might need something bigger, like maybe a kitty cat. And then you put the piano on top of the cat, who's going to chase the lizard that's going to go after the flypaper. My goodness, there's always a way to make it work, because MacGyver had the will and the know-how to be Meshuggah. Topics Master.
Thank you, Rick, for giving a great solution to getting a piano, especially one of the size of your choice, up to the top floor. Lori, would you like to go next? I know you both have to leave early today, so I'll pick you first.
I'm almost afraid to say yes.
So give me two numbers from 1 to 25.
3 and 15.
3 and 15. Number 3. A garbage truck has just backed into a power pole and knocked out the electricity for the entire block. And the tools you get to use to fix this problem are crazy glue, an old-fashioned telephone, and a bag of microwave popcorn.
I could use that in the chat too, just to remind me to weave it into my story. Crazy glue, popcorn, and what was the third?
A bag of microwave
Oh,
popcorn.
no, I said popcorn. Crazy glue, popcorn,
Oh, and a
and
telephone.
oh,
An
telephone.
old-fashioned telephone.
Fellow Toastmasters, did you know that I am a contractor who helps the garbage men drive along the road, and I am just stuck with having to fix the problems they create. If if they could just pay attention, if the garbage driver could just pay attention and not look at his phone while he's driving, especially when he's going in reverse, maybe, just maybe, he could avoid hitting a telephone pole. That was what it was, right? And so hitting the telephone pole knocked the service out because we have electricity and cables for telephone and cable TV all on our telephone poles. So this garbage man upset people in the neighborhood because now they can't make phone calls, and their phone is out of order. Their TV is out of order, so they can't watch their sports that they want to watch. And they might have even lost power. But as the good MacGyver troubleshooter that I am, I've got the tools to fix the problem. First of all, I'm able to plug in my really old-fashioned telephone. I can climb up the pole and plug it directly into the box at the top of the pole and call for backup, because in a situation like this, one really needs backup. And also, for those unhappy nearby neighbors who can't watch TV, I've got popcorn for them. So at least they can take a popcorn break while we're working on restoring cable for them. Now, one really creative solution. Did you know how strong crazy glue is? I found a few guys and they helped me. A part of the pole had snapped a little, but they helped me. We all pushed that pole straight up again and put some crazy glue in there to hold it. And we had to hold the pole for 2 minutes for the crazy glue to dry. But when it dried, it was good as new. And so it restored the telephone service, the TV cable service, and the electricity. And everyone was happy. I saved the day. Back to you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Lori. It's good to call for backup when the garbage truck backs up wrong. All right, could I get a volunteer to be our next speaker? Sandra, would you like to pick a couple of numbers here?
What numbers have been picked already?
Don't worry about it.
Okay. Sure, I'll pick a number. Let's give me 3.
Number 3. The nuclear power plant is about to have a meltdown. As the nuclear safety technician, you must stop it with the materials you find at hand. And to stop the meltdown. Sorry, what was your second number?
Oh, I have it a number 9.
No wonder I don't remember it.
Green 9, I
Number
think.
9. You get a fedora hat, a whip, and a golden idol. So how are you going to solve the nuclear crisis with a fedora, a whip, and a golden idol?
Fellow Toastmasters, did you know I'm also Indiana Jones? With a fedora hat, a whip, and a golden idol, I will stop that meltdown. Barehanded, with the scruff of my jacket and this fine-looking fedora. I'm going to look so fine there with my fedora on, cracking that whip, making people get to work. Stop making this nuclear thing go off. You're going to push all the buttons. But I'm there with my fedora hat and my whip. If they don't get busy, I'm going to pull out this golden idol, and the golden idol, as you pull it out of my jacket, it just, everybody just stops to watch this golden idol. Even the nuclear reactor reacted to its presence. Such bravado, it cooled down immediately. I'm cracking that whip, holding my fedora, looking so fine with this golden idol at my side. There can be no mistaking the idol and its goldenness overpowering the nuclear reactor. Saved the day with moments to spare. I put it to retire my whip. Did not need that anymore because the golden idol kept everything at bay. Back to you, Tabletop Master.
Thank you, Sandra. You definitely showed bravado in that fedora to save the day. Okay, who'd like to volunteer next? Megan.
All right, let's do numbers 5 and 7.
5 and 7. The bus that you are riding on has just been hijacked. How are you going to stop the hijackers using a magic marker, a gallon of water, and 100 sheets of paper? So you've got a stack of paper, a gallon of water, and a magic marker.
Mr. Table Topics Master, you are never going to believe this, but the bus we are riding on right now has been hijacked. There is a bomb on the bus, and if we slow down, or if anyone gets off the bus, everyone is gonna die, especially that guy who's the tourist who is really annoying everyone, that the girl even had to pretend she had gum on her seat. But don't worry, I have a solution. I have this handy magic marker. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run to the back of the bus, and I am gonna write a message in reverse, because I have that kind of talent, to write backwards on the back of the bus, asking specifically for help. What I think would be the most helpful thing is if we could take hundreds of sheets of paper and squish them together until they became like steps. We have to compress them as tight as possible to make them steps, so that way when we go to step off of the bus, we kind of slide step off of the bus instead of having to really worry about like the jumping off of the bus. But the real thing that is going to save us all is the fact that that really annoying tourist guy, he's got like some sort of water issue. He said he's really thirsty all the time. So he brought with him this huge gallon of water. what I think is if we dump the water on him on the bus driver at the exact moment we open the back of the door and step out onto our compressed sheets of paper, we can short circuit the bomb and save everyone. All right, on the count of 3, we're going to go. 1, 2, 3, go! Thank you, Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Megan. I think you've definitely saved the day. Everyone could get off the bus safely, and hopefully the bomb actually did short circuit. Otherwise, you'll wind up blowing up an airplane or something. Who would like to go next for our table topics? Gail, I see your hand.
I'm ready.
All right, give me 2 numbers from 1 to 25.
3 and 19.
Thank you, Gail. 3 and 19. You are the 3rd person out of what? 6 table topics that has chosen number 3. But I will give you a scenario regardless. You are taking a shortcut across a frozen pond when you fall through the ice. You've fallen through thin ice, and what did you get to stop it? You have a ferret, a pair of handcuffs, and a roll of aluminum foil. I'll put those in the chat. You have a ferret, a pair of handcuffs, and a roll of aluminum foil to save you from falling through the ice. Tell us, Gail, how you're going to save the day. Or yourself, at least.
Fellow Toastmasters, I have just fallen through thin ice on the pond that I was trying to shortcut over. Well, that wasn't according to my plan. But fear not, though. I will solve this problem with bravado. I have a ferret, handcuffs, and a roll of aluminum foil. What I will do is, with the aluminum foil, I'm going to make a big long rope over it, and I plan that it will stretch the whole way of the pond. But I'm going to instruct the ferret. Ferrets are really smart animals, and I'm going to instruct this ferret to take the roll of aluminum foil and arrange it so that it covers the whole gap in the ice. And I will break apart the handcuffs, and I will use them to one handcuff to, oh, no, I won't break them apart, but I will attach it to the beginning. I will attach it to the end of the gap, and I will have the ferret stand over the aluminum starting from the beginning of the path, and the ferret will hold that part in place, and that will secure the starting side. And then I will get up and cross over with the aluminum foil, and the ferret holding it on one side and the handcuffs securing it to the other side, and I'll cross over. Back to you, Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Gail, for getting yourself out of that ice and using the aluminum foil to cover the gap. Now, I think we have time for our last two victims to solve their problem. Debbie or Dale, who'd like to go next? I see Dale. So give me two numbers from 1 to 25 or 10 to 25. First, you want to unmute. That's the first thing to solve.
1 and 25.
Okay, number 1. You are floating down a river, heading straight toward a waterfall. And what you have to try and save you is a plastic cup, a rubber band, and a flashlight. Now, that can be a solar-powered flashlight if you want, but
All
so we have
right.
a plastic cup. Okay, go ahead.
This will be a major problem, except that I'm used to doing this in places like Michigan and Ohio, where the waterfalls tend to be about 1 foot high. So going over a waterfall is not that serious of a problem. Not like going over Niagara Falls or Angel Falls. Well, you sort of bump your bottom, but not terribly high, because it is water splashing down into. It's just careful selection of which rivers you flow down. And hopefully, at least there are waters where they actually can hopefully survive actually being in the water. Unlike some of them where you risk, particularly your flashlight, turning your flashlight, you might set the river on fire. I think that's been done in Cleveland 1 or 2 times. Or one where it's like, all right, but you're now contaminated worse than if you'd been in a most chemical disasters known to mankind. Or if you had this little problem that, well, are the crocodiles going to eat you before the pythons do? Or in some of them, or in some waters, you might also have to worry about things like the electric eels, which could possibly solve the electric problem with electric power being off. Back to you.
Thank you, Dale.
We need to
Yes.
run. It was good to see everyone. Happy holidays. We'll see you in
Happy
January.
holidays.
Happy holidays, Lori and Rick.
Passover.
Take care.
Yes. And thank you for understanding the fact that we have to go out and do Christmas carols. What else would a rabbi do on Christmas?
Who knows?
I don't think there's Passover carols, are there? I think there's Passover songs.
Hanukkah.
There's songs, you know.
Hanukkah.
There's
Hanukkah.
Hanukkah
Oh
songs.
yeah, I flipped
I
my.
had
I
a
flipped my.
little dreidel. I made it out of clay.
There it is.
Bye,
Okay.
everyone.
Okay, we don't want to
Bye.
interrupt.
Take
Bye-bye.
care.
Okay.
Happy
Bye.
holidays. Now, I think we just have enough time for us to give one more topic to Debbie.
Hey,
Debbie, give me two numbers from 1 to 25.
115.
All right. You are an Uber driver and your passenger has just gone into labor. There's not enough time to go to the hospital. You're going to have to deliver the baby yourself with the help of the following objects. You have a pair of sunglasses, underwear, and a tube of lipstick. I'm hoping you can deliver the baby. I'll put those in the chat for you.
Folks, let me tell you about this one ride I had. Ordinary Saturday night, doing my runs between bars. But I got this one call. Seemed kind of urgent, so I took it. I always love a challenge. And I don't know why I took it, but I decided I needed to take this particular one. And at the corner of the street was standing a lovely woman. And then as I turned the corner, I could see she was pregnant. Very, very pregnant. She walks with her hand on her back very gently into the back of my car, my beautiful ruby Audi Q3, which I like to keep pristine. Poor Ruby. She was going in for a ride of her life. My passenger is in full labor. There's no way I can move any forward in the car because it would be too dangerous for her and me. She was all by her lonesome. So I had to think quick. I have a pair of sunglasses, a pair of underwear, and a tube of lipstick. So what do I do with that? Well, first of all, the underwear, that'd be good swaddling clothing. So I set that aside for when the baby does arrive. Now, meanwhile, the young lady is in distress. Her first baby, she really didn't take care of herself very well, had no idea what was to come up. So, as she was in between labor pains, I gave her a tube of lipstick. And in the sunglasses, I had her turn them around because they were the mirror kind and put lipstick on because I was trying to distract her from the labor pains. And as it came out, the baby just shot right out like a football. I caught it, wrapped it up in the underwear, and placed it on Mama. And then we proceeded off to the nearest hospital, and we were able to celebrate the birth of this lovely young baby girl on New Year's Day. First baby of the night because it was at 11:59. So we were able to get first baby in of the night of the new year.
Congratulations, Debbie, for helping deliver a brand new baby. And great job in catching it like the football it shot out of. I hope you didn't spike the football afterwards.
No, I decided not to.
This brings us to the end of our MacGyver table topics. I hope you've all enjoyed it. You've certainly shown the bravado in solving the problems. And now I will return the screen back to our Toastmaster Dale.
Thank you, Doug. And we will now proceed. And it's now my turn to turn it over to our general evaluator, Gail Thiessen. Back to you. On to you, Gail. Sir.
Thank you.
Ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Now, the first thing that I do as the general evaluator is call upon the speech evaluators. So first, I call upon Diamond Debbie to evaluate Doug's speech. Please welcome Diamond Debbie.
Thank you. It's my honor to give the evaluation of Doug's presentation on Bob, the fourth Magi. You had great vocal variety and you changed in the voices for each character and you maintained it throughout the entire presentation. Great job because that is very difficult to do. You had puns abounded with bravado. You are very brave with your puns. So keep leveraging the fun and wit in your speeches. They make them very memorable. One thing you may want to work on is I observed your gestures with your hands raised repeatedly, considering using different gestures to illustrate your point. You can go high, a low, across, whatever works into the speech, because there are just a lot of them. And one time you looked like a priest. But to challenge yourself in it even more, Plan to make use of the stage even more. I know you stood up for this and you walked around maybe once or twice. Consider adding a certain location for each character. So like each corner or part of the stage to ensure that they do not overstep each other during the presentation when we have the first Magi stepping over the fourth Magi and whatever combinations can occur in between that. So that way we are very, very sure as an audience who you're referencing to. You have great vocal variety as to who is who, but after a while kind of got a little muddled in the middle as to where everybody was stationed in the presentation. Overall, the clarity was awesome. I understood all the word. Vocal variety was up over the charts, exemplary there. This is one thing I always encourage other fellow Toastmasters to work on, that vocal variety, especially with other characters. Eye contact, you knew where the camera was, used it efficiently. The gestures, just remember to give a little more variety in the gestures. Audience awareness, even though you probably couldn't see all of us, there was some laughing emoticons coming through too. So you saw those. Okay, great. So it didn't break you up either. So good job in maintaining that. You were comfortable with the subject matter and giving the presentation. It was an interesting story for all of us. Impact and pace were excellent and great job. And I enjoy Bob the Magi. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Diamond Debbie. Next, you conduct the round robin.
Oh, that's right. I forget. Round robin. Who would like to go first to add a little bit more? Any volunteers? Sandra.
I'll go, Megan. Oh, I'm sorry. That was my next thing. Doug, I loved your background. It made it feel like you were on a stage. With all your puns, I felt like you could have been a stand-up comic delivering this speech. And I may have heard some of this speech before. However, this time was your absolute best. I loved this speech. Why? Because there was something about you made us believe there are four wise men. You brought credibility to these gentlemen, that they brought these elements, and Bob was the funny one. He should have been also with you on stage. Frank's incense, that one's staying with me for a long time. I loved how you used these puns throughout. I'll never look at the three wise men the same. In fact, I want to hear this story again, and I'll play it for my family on the three wise men day. Back to you, Debbie.
Thank you, Sandra. Great job. Who else would like to give some feedback?
I can
Megan?
add. Doug, thank you so much for the speech. For me, it's still very intimidating being online and in this format. And even just seeing something as different as you taking the time to close out your camera and then come back on and be standing, I thought that that was really helpful for me as a participant to kind of break like when you were the president versus when you were speaking. And it's not something that I think I would have naturally thought to do, but I'm going to keep that back in the file cabinet for when my club does things online and when I need to do things here, because I think it really created that separation that puts you in two different roles, and I appreciated it.
Thank you very much, Megan. Dale, would you like to add a few words?
Well, it's a very funny speech. Unfortunately, I wasn't even part of it because I got a phone call from my wife at the same time and had to transition the phone to her. So I'm going to be telling something she learned earlier today from someone else. So, but I know I've heard most of those speech before, and it's still very funny.
Thank you, Dale. Thank you very much. Okay, back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you. Thank you, Diamond Debbie, for the evaluation in the round robin session. And next, I will call upon Sandra Orland, who is evaluating Megan's speech. Please welcome Sandra.
Thank you so much, Madam General Evaluator and fellow Toastmasters, and especially Megan. I loved getting to know more about you in this speech, the 101 of Megan. I loved your title. It was so informative. The icebreaker is something we haven't gotten to hear a lot of here in this club, but we definitely do love them. You were great. You were great. You used effective eye contact. You looked right at the camera, but you also looked at all the participants here, and that was very well done. I felt very connected with you. You used varied vocal variety throughout your speech to emphasize different aspects of your story. You leaned in a little bit further when we talked about your children. You leaned back a little bit talking about your work, and then you settled in, got cozy, and you told us a very personal why Toastmasters, how you found your tribe. That was very effective gestures without using a whole lot of arms or hands or whatsies going on. Very effective. I also noticed you used a lot of facial gestures naturally. That made me really feel connected to your story. You had perfect pace, clear language, and I really enjoyed the structure of your story of the 3 items about you with your children, your work, and finding yourself. We could connect with your story, especially when you used your vocal variety a little bit further around your finding your tribe with some joy. Worry about the kids, but I heard the joy in your voice as you talked about finding yourself and finding your tribe. Now, what you might want to consider working on, there were some very varied elements of fun and humor woven through your speech. Consider adding a few pauses to allow the audience reaction. As you shared the glamorous children and the demands of work, you revealed teenage boys that brought a level of humor that made you chuckle. And certainly we joined you in the laughter. A few more seconds of that pause to really breathe in or maybe sniff out the situation. If anybody's worked with teenage boys, you know what I'm talking about. It's a whole nother level. I even walked into a middle school. That's a whole nother level. I just apologize for them because they just don't know. They don't care. They're teenage boys. To challenge yourself. Now, this is going to be really tough because you came out of the gate really amazing and excellent with your entire speech, the structure. I want to challenge you a little bit on your gestures in an online world. Consider you don't necessarily need to stand, but if you're using the space effectively, you might lean to the left, you might lean to the right. You might shake your finger at your kids for dancing. You should see these kids over here dancing, or maybe a full hand, because sometimes gestures of a single finger does not bode well with all cultures. And then you can say, and then my child over here, you don't want to see what they're doing. Good thing I have my background on. Consider using, I'm challenging you to use more of your space here so you can be effective with gestures. Your facial gestures are on point. That is my evaluation for Megan, and I loved her speech, and I can't wait to learn more about her. Now I will run the round robin for this group. Now I'm going in a circle, but we're actually squares here, friends. Go ahead and raise your hand. Oh, Doug, you're first.
Megan, I really enjoyed the speech. It was great to find out more about you. I did, as Sandra said, I enjoyed the structure. It covered the topics very nicely. I really liked where you were talking about sort of trying to find yourself. And am I Megan the artist? Am I Megan the personal coach? That worked very well. I like that a lot. I was noticing, yeah, your gestures, there weren't a lot, but they were effective, and that's a good thing. couple areas I could challenge you on is more about the virtual environment. I noticed that you have a ring light and it is providing excellent illumination for you, so that's good. But what I really noticed, the reason why I know you have a ring light is because it's reflecting off your glasses a lot. And you might want to consider the position of the ring light. If you raise it up higher, then the angle might not be right from the light to the light to the glasses to the camera. So that's something to watch out for. Uh, Sorry, where your glasses were right then as you're leaning forward, the ring light was producing perfect pupils on your glasses right at that point. Just okay, that was funny. And one other thing that I've noticed in the online environment is it's harder to know when you're finished and when you want to transition. And often it really just helps to say, back to you, Mr. Toastmaster or Madam Table Topics, whatever. So just a little something that you might want to keep in mind as you move forward on things. Oh, but the speech was excellent. Sandra.
Thank you so much, Doug. What a great evaluation for Megan. And next, who do we have to deliver additional feedback? Diamond Debbie.
Yes. Megan, I really enjoyed your presentation. You spoke from the heart, and that really, really showed. So it made it so very believable. And of course, the antics that came off screen, you took it into stride, brought it into the speech, made it part of the speech. I'm sure they're totally embarrassed by you, but that's the job of a parent, to embarrass the kids, and the kids to embarrass the parent. So perfect. Keep it up. You're doing good. Back to you, lounge evaluator.
Very good. Thank you, Diamond Debbie. Wonderful. Let's bring up Gail for her additional feedback.
Thank you, Sandra. I really liked how you described the difference in height between your twins. I thought you gave really good descriptions. I could just picture it. The one, this one, and then this one. So that great descriptions there. And I enjoyed your speech in general. Back to you, Sandra.
Thank you, ma'am, Gail. That was wonderful. Now, if Dale has additional feedback for Megan. And there you go.
Well, the things there was reminding me of a person I met in China. And her twins were a surprise. She had just had delivered twin boys who were going to buy some lawn and such. And right after they were delivered, they found out their cancellation of the Chinese adoption had not gone through. So she was in China with a friend adopting the triplet, the third member of their triplets, who didn't look very much like her identical brothers. But she said they were going to raise them. They were only about 2 years. She was only about 2 months older, so they were going to raise them as triplets. Very, very nice speech.
Thank you, Dale. That was great. It was a great round robin for Megan. Now I will return control back to our general evaluator, Gail.
Thank you, Sandra. Next, I will call upon our table topics evaluator, and that is Diamond Debbie. Please welcome Diamond Debbie.
Thank you. It was a very fun table topics with the McGregor approach. Everybody was very creative in it, with Rich being able to tie in his real life moving company in with that was amazing. I had no clue about that. And how he took liberties on the size and proportions of things to put it together. And he had a very positive outlook, always make a way to make it work. For Lori, she became an engineer which she is in real life too, solving garbage truck rear endings. And she had a great use of using the telephone as it was purposed, but up on top of a telephone pole, entertaining the neighborhood with popcorn, and then using the crazy glue to put it all back together very successfully. So she did a great job engineering things. They're great problem solvers. For Sandra, who had the impending nuclear power plant meltdown, used her fedora hat quite effectively with the whip and that magic golden idol to save the day because she was Indiana Jones in that moment. So great personification. Megan was part of a hijacked bus, and she made use of a magic marker, gallon of water, and 100 sheets of paper. And I don't remember, but I think she added the bomb to the story. And once she was able to resolve all those issues with those 3 items, she involved the audience by saying, 1, 2, 3, go. Let's jump out the bus together. So I love that part. She got us all involved. For Gail, whose shortcut on the frozen pond was a very wet idea, she made use of her ferret, pair of handcuffs, and aluminum foil. And I like that she used fear not into the presentation. And so that was a lot of bravado on her end. And it was a very creative use of the foil and the ferret and securing things between the ferret and the handcuffs and be able to get to the opposite side of that broken ice. Good job. I'm glad you were able to solve yourself. Dale, who was floating down the river towards a waterfall, also made use of sizing because he talked about the very small waterfalls we have here in Ohio. But that flashlight came in handy, especially for creating fires. And I'm assuming he was referring to the Cuyahoga River, which used to burn, based upon all the garbage and fuel that was in there back in the way back days. And he added creatures to this story, added electric eels and other water creatures into it to make it even more dangerous for it to live through. Good job, Dale. And for myself, as an Uber driver, I saved the day by delivering a baby. So what can I say? Just did it with a pair of sunglasses and a tube of lipstick to entertain the stress out mother-to-be and a pair of underwear to swaddle the baby and get everybody safely to the hospital. So great job on the table topics. And Doug, great job pulling up something at the last minute, filling in. We really appreciate it. And having those back pocket ideas available at any time to fill in for some blank spaces in our agenda. Lots of fun today.
You're still muted, Gail.
Sorry about that. I will call upon myself as the timer to give my report. For the speeches, Doug, yours was 6 minutes, 29 seconds. Good job. And Megan, you were within time also at 5 minutes and 6 seconds. So good job there. For table topics, there were a few people that went overtime, but Lori was at 3 minutes and 13 seconds. And I thought it was, oh, okay. Diamond, wait, that was, okay, I'm trying to sort through. Okay, there was only one person, Lori, who went overtime on the table topics. I got a little confused there. Everyone else was within time. Rick at 2:14, Sandra at 1 minute 40, Megan at 1 minute 33, and I didn't time myself, I forgot to. Dale, you were 1 minute 18 seconds. So good job. For the speech evaluations, Diamond Debbie, you were your evaluation was 2 minutes and 40 seconds. That's right in the 2 to 3 minute range. So good job there. And our round robin happened to be the same time, 2 minutes and 40 seconds. What I forgot to mention in my introduction as timer was that I do 3 to 4 minutes on the round robin. The green light should go on at 3 minutes and yellow at 3.5 and red at 4. And Sandra, your evaluation was a little bit long. It was 3 minutes and 33 seconds.
So I went
Eh,
over.
Okay. And the round robin was 4 minutes and 15 seconds. So that was just a few seconds over the round robin time. So not bad. Now we call upon our Hark Master, and I don't remember who our oh, okay, we call upon Sandra, our Hark Master, to give us the quiz. Please welcome Sandra.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Everyone unmute themselves. We're going to
All
use a
right.
lot of bravado. We're not going to go over heights today, but you're going to use bravado answering these questions. Are you ready? What was the word of the day, and why did Dale choose this word?
Bravado.
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 And
Why did Dale choose it?
I can't remember.
Well, actually, basically because I was trying desperately to find my word of the day because I found out shortly beforehand that was the word of the day instead of Lori.
Right.
I was going to say because you needed to use bravado to overcome your fear of height. So I thought that was appropriate. How funny. Thank you for answering your own question, Dale.
He's so enthusiastic.
That's right. I felt very empowered by his answer. Who
Yeah.
were the magi that Doug spoke about?
Bob.
Frankincense.
We got Bob. He also spoke Melchior and a couple of other ones, but the regular
Casper.
names. But Bob was the new one.
So I heard
Casper.
Casper.
Yeah.
Gaspar, Melchior, Balthazar.
Balthazar, and Bob.
Balthazar.
Everybody got
By the
Bob.
way, there has been a movie about Bob. What about Bob?
What about
Oh,
Bob? Exactly.
yeah, that was
What about
hilarious.
Bob? That's hilarious and well
That was
on
a fun
point.
movie, yeah.
What are Megan's children's names?
Vincent
Mhm.
is one. Um,
Bob.
Should have. We'll let him know.
I'll
we
give you
She
their first
referred to him
letters.
Mutt and
Was
Jeff,
there a Drew there?
Mine and Jeff, that's right.
put them as that.
the twins.
I'll give you two more, their first letters, D and B.
Was Drew one of them?
No.
No.
Okay, time's up. Dominic and Bennett.
oh, okay.
Are they all the same age?
Yes.
The
Roughly, yeah.
Twins and
Yeah.
the twins
Irish twin. The third Irish twin.
They're
Mhm.
Irish
Yeah,
twins,
right.
but they're not the same age. They're in the same grade.
Same
They can't be the same
Well,
age, or they
the
would have been
third is
triplets.
Yes.
9 or 10 months later, yeah.
right?
Right. But they're all in the same grade.
Well, they're not exactly the same age anyway, because my wife is not the same age as her twin brother by about 2 or 3 minutes.
Right.
Of course.
They're the same age for 2 months. Then,
Yeah.
to be technical. How did Rick move the piano?
Oh, he attached it to the lizard.
Yeah,
And who actually moved the piano?
The cat.
the lizard.
The lizard, yeah.
Yes.
Yes, the lizard actually moved the piano. That was a trick question. It wasn't Rick moving it. He made
But
others move it
on the
for
other
him.
hand, if you chose the right lizard, they could have had a little full-size piano on a Komodo dragon.
That's right.
That's true. Size does matter.
Probably. That's the new kind of furniture movers that I've never heard about. I think I need a pair of those for something that I've got to move in my house. What did Lori have to solve? What was the MacGyver situation?
Oh, the power went out because the trash truck hit the pole.
Yes, very good. What ultimately prevented the nuclear reactor to explode?
The
Golden
golden
idol.
idol.
Oh, the
Golden
magic from the
Golden
golden idol.
idol.
Yes.
And you could have said the fedora hat because that was pretty
I-
amazing, right? Everybody? Okay.
Mhm.
What? What did Megan put in place for the passengers for the bus to safely get off the bus?
Stairs out of paper.
Yes,
Yep.
I thought that was very inventive. Very
That was
Yes.
inventive.
good. Yeah.
That is all I have for Harkmaster today. I turn the control back to our general evaluator.
Okay, thank you, Sandra, for that quiz. We had a good meeting today. Doug filled all the roles before the meeting started, so good job there. And you started the meeting on time, Doug, so great job. The word was bravado. So I thought that was an appropriate word because it can sure be used a lot. You know, people can fit that word into a lot of different situations. So great job. And I really like the speeches. And Doug, I thought your word bravado. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Yeah, you did a good job as table topics master. I like the MacGyver table topics. They certainly inspired some creative responses, and everybody gave a creative response. And Sandra, I like how you did the gestures with the fedora. That was great. And there's something else you did gestures with too, but I can't remember what with the fedora I remember. That was great. And everybody had creative answers. So, and especially Megan with the stairs made out of paper, I thought that was really creative. And Sandra with the gold statue scaring away was it the hijacker that scared away? Or can't remember what your problem was now.
Nuclear power.
Oh, nuclear power,
Nuclear
that's right.
power.
So
There's the height, yeah, the nuclear
yeah,
power.
so the idol end up stopping the leak, the problem. So great job there. And let's see. I thought everybody Sandra, I like your quiz as Heart Master. Diamond Debbie, you did a great job as Table Topics Evaluator.
Yep.
And I really like the way people took on multiple roles. I think we all handled it very well. So I really enjoyed our meeting and good job, everybody. Now, back to you, Toastmaster Dale.
Thank you, Gail. And I will now turn it over to our president for club business.
All right. Thank you, Dale. I think that we don't need to record the club business. So I will close the regular portion of the meeting and stop the recording. So thank you, everyone, and we'll move to business once I close the meeting.
Ding dong.